The version of yourself you've been defending your whole life. You built it. And you can't stop protecting it long enough to question whether it's even real. Let me start with a Tuesday morning. You're at your desk, coffee going cold, and a message comes in from someone at work. One line. 5 words. Can we talk later? Thanks, that's it. No context. No tone, just a small rectangle of text on a screen, and something happens in your body. Your stomach tightens, your shoulders lift 1/4 inch. Somewhere behind your eyes, a courtroom opens for business. Within 30 seconds, you've written the script. You're being criticized, you're being passed over. Maybe you're being let go. You start rehearsing your defense. You review last week's meeting for anything you might have said wrong. You draft 3 versions of a reply and delete all of them. By the time the meeting actually happens, 3 hours later, and it turns out to be about scheduling, you've already spent the morning at war with something that was never coming. Here's what I want us to look at together in the next few minutes. Not the anxiety. Not the overthinking. Something underneath both of those. Every one of us has built a mental identity, a story of who we are, and we spend enormous energy protecting that story, even when the protecting is what's hurting us. And the strange part is, the thing we're protecting runs on comparison, scarcity, and fear. Which means it can never actually feel safe. No amount of success, no amount of reassurance, no amount of achievement quiets it for long. This isn't a spiritual claim. It's just what happens when you watch your own mind honestly, under pressure. Here's the picture I keep coming back to. Imagine that when you were very young, you built a sandcastle. You worked hard on it. You gave it towers and walls and a name. And then, without quite noticing, you stood up next to it and you never sat back down. You've been standing over it your whole life, watching the tide. Every wave that comes in, every criticism, every awkward silence, every raised eyebrow, every email that says, "Can we talk later?" feels like an existential threat. Not because you're in danger. Because the sandcastle is. The exhausting part of your life isn't the waves. Waves are just waves. The exhausting part is that somewhere along the way, you confused yourself with the sandcastle. You started believing that if the structure got damaged, you got damaged. If the story got questioned, you got questioned. So you've been standing guard, arms out, bracing against the ocean, for years. And nobody told you that you could step back. So let's name what's actually running the Tuesday morning spiral. It's not you. Not the deep, quiet you underneath all of it. It's the identity you assembled, piece by piece, mostly before you were old enough to have a say. It's made of the things you were praised for and the things you were shamed for. The roles you took on to be loved. The image you cultivated to be safe. The comparisons you made to know where you stood. And this assembled self has exactly one job: keep itself alive. It's not evil. It's not even really the enemy. It's just a survival mechanism that got confused into thinking it was the whole of you. That's why it runs on scarcity. It's always measuring. Am I enough? Am I ahead? Am I falling behind? That's why it's obsessed with comparison. It literally cannot know it exists without something to compare itself to. And that's why it's so easily threatened. Its foundation isn't stable. So every wave is a 5-alarm fire. When you understand this, a lot of your inner life starts to make sense. The reason you can achieve the thing you wanted and feel empty within a week. The reason a compliment lifts you for an hour and a criticism sits in your chest for a month. The reason you can be genuinely loved and still feel at the edges like you're auditioning. It's not that you're broken, it's that you've been feeding a self-concept that can't be fed. It has no bottom. Here's the turn. Here's the moment worth staying for. If you can name it, if you can watch it happen, then something in you is not it. Read that again slowly. If you can notice the anxious voice, describe its patterns, predict what it's about to say, then whatever is doing the noticing is standing somewhere the noise cannot reach. There is a you that exists outside the spiral. You've probably touched it before, briefly, in quiet moments, on walks, right after a good laugh, just before sleep. That quiet you was there all along. It just got drowned out. Watch what happens on that Tuesday morning if, instead of getting inside the spiral, you notice it. There it is. The sandcastle thinks the tide is coming. You're not fighting the thought. You're not affirming it. You're not arguing with the version of yourself that thinks it's about to be fired. You're just seeing the machinery. And here's the strange thing. The machinery doesn't like being seen. It runs on being believed. The moment you look at it directly, it starts to lose voltage. Not because you defeated it. Because you stopped agreeing to be it. This is what a lot of us have been missing. We've been arguing with the anxious voice as if we had to win. But you were never supposed to win the argument. You were supposed to notice you were having one, with yourself, in a courtroom that only exists in your head. So what changes? Practically, when you stop confusing yourself with the sandcastle, the waves still come. Someone still sends the 5-word email. Your colleague still has a bad day and takes it out on you. Life still has friction. Nothing external softens on your behalf, but inside, something shifts. Decisions get quieter. You stop making choices out of the panic of, what will this mean about me? You start asking simpler questions. Is this true? Is this kind? Is this mine to do? Relationships change texture. When you're not defending a self-image every second, you can actually hear the person in front of you. Their words stop being ammunition for the story about you. They become just words. Sometimes helpful, sometimes not. Rarely as personal as they felt. And reactions, the automatic ones, the ones that used to fire before you had a chance to think, those start to slow down. There's a gap. A quarter second at first, then a full second, then longer. In that gap, you get to choose. You'll still catch yourself standing over the sandcastle sometimes. That's fine. The point isn't to demolish it. The point is that when you notice you're bracing, you can sit down. And this is where the relief lives. It's not that life gets easier. Nobody who tells you the truth about this will promise you that. It's that you stop being at war with it. The vigilance drops. The low-grade dread that's been humming under everything. The sense that you have to keep proving something, keep defending something, keep holding something together. It gets quieter. You start to notice that you're okay in more moments than you thought. Not happy, necessarily. Not fixed. Just okay. Present. Here. Breathing. The sandcastle is still there. The tide still moves, but you, the real you, the one that was here before you built any of it, you were never made of sand. You were the one watching all along, and when you remember that, even for a moment, the whole Tuesday morning looks different. The email is just an email. The meeting is just a meeting, and you get your life back from a war that was never actually happening. Before we move into the meditation, if this is helping you, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe. It's a simple way to keep practicing together. Let's take a few minutes to let this settle. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to understand anything more than you already do. Start by letting your body find a comfortable place to be. Feet on the floor if you're sitting. Shoulders soft. Let your hands rest, and just notice that you're breathing. You didn't have to make it happen. It's already happening. Let the breath be slow. Let it be quiet. Notice the sounds around you. The temperature of the air. The small weight of your body against whatever is holding it. Nothing to fix. Nothing to change. Now, gently, notice the part of you that has been on guard today. The low hum of watching. The bracing. See if you can feel where it lives in your body. Maybe the jaw. Maybe the shoulders. Maybe somewhere behind the ribs. You don't have to make it go away. Just notice it's there, and as you notice it, feel this. You are the one noticing, not the tension. The one aware of the tension. Let that sink in for a moment. Somewhere in you, there is a place that isn't bracing, that was never bracing. Let your attention drift toward it. Think of the sandcastle for a moment. The one you've been guarding, and let yourself, just for now, sit down next to it. You don't have to abandon it. You don't have to destroy it. You're just sitting down. The tide is doing what tides do. It doesn't need your management. It never did. Rest here for a few breaths. No agenda. No task. Just being. Feel the quiet underneath the noise. It's been there the whole time. If a thought comes, let it come. If it goes, let it go. You are not the thoughts. You are the space they move through. Stay here as long as you like, and when you're ready, let your attention widen. Notice the room again, the light, the sounds. Bring a little of this quiet with you. It belongs to you. It always did. Thank you for being here and practicing together. If you'd like, you can find a free digital ACIM resource in the description. And if you want to mark the moment, a simple comment such as, "I am grateful," is welcome. Thank you for being here with me. Really, it takes something to sit still with this kind of question. And you did it. Whatever you noticed today, let it be enough. You don't have to fix yourself before the day ends. Be gentle with the part of you that's been standing guard for so long. It was only ever trying to keep you safe. I'll see you next time.